Oh, hey, just looking at my Christmassy quilt on the wall and looking at the spot that needs fixed. I know that over the summer you saw all of these blocks. Let me pull up a chair and we can have a chat. Talk about all the topics for today. You saw me looking at the Christmas quilt there. I do have all the blocks done. Originally, I had looked at that back in the spring before we went to Michigan, and I had it in a project box, and I thought, I only have 2 blocks done. I'm just going to disassemble this and put it in with other things. And then I realized that I had kitted up all of the blocks, and they were all cut out, ready to go. So then over the summer, I made them. And when I got to this long, thin row, after I made it, I realized I had cut the end pieces way back when, in 2018, I had cut those pieces incorrectly. So that little row is too short. So I have come up with a solution to fix my dummy mistake. Yes, I called it a dummy mistake because, and it was about 1 inch too short. So my solution is I am going to remove the strip here in the middle, and I'm going to make that one narrower. I'm going to insert a block of some other color, like blue snowflakes, and then I am going to use my embroidery machine and put "Live Every Day Like It's Christmas" or something like that on that block, so that it will fit the rows and I can get this put together and quilted. My niece and my brother-in-law love Christmas. Here's a little picture of her. They went on a carriage ride and she got to pet the horse. My sister said, "Oh, Sadie loves celery." She takes a big bite and then she gives it to whatever horse is nearby because they go visit a farm. And she just loves celery because she shares it with the animals. So yeah, I would love celery that way too. 1 bite for me, a whole stalk for you. That's probably how it tastes best. So they did some fun Christmas things, and Sadie got to meet the Grinch, but she didn't get his autograph. She didn't realize that the Grinch was my favorite Christmas character yet. She's only 3. So I have been busy with some other things. I have been making weather blocks, and this is where I start using those pre-cut scrap blocks. Marion, you'll love this. You know how this works. I make my little lists and color code it so I know what shapes and sizes I need. Then I pull out my pre-cut boxes of blocks and squares, and I start pulling from them. That's why some of those weather blocks look absolutely wild when they get assembled. Because once I have all the pieces, and I have this chart with pieces, how many of each one I need, how many 2.5 inch blocks, etc., etc., then I start to pull the individual block pieces together and put them in the basket so that I can just grab them and sew them. So after I use the pre-cuts, then I need to do a little bit more cutting, but not usually too much, especially when I'm here in West Virginia where I have big tubs of pre-cuts. Bigger house, bigger tubs of stuff to keep around. So I have been working on that. For my great niece again, I have some things that aren't quilting things. I have, and this may shock you, I have Annie here. She loves Annie. And Annie was a victim of a tragic high chair accident. Sadie was putting Annie in the high chair along with several other dolls, and the high chair tipped over. And Annie has a broken leg. I know this may be shocking and you may need to look away. I am going to replace Annie's legs with some nice cloth legs so that it is not a problem. Now, Annie has been repaired several times, and my brother-in-law uses JB Weld glue. Well, we were recently visiting and we stopped by a thrift store, and my sister found a little boy doll, a porcelain doll, and he's heavy. He's very heavy. His body is very heavy, and took him home. Now he already has cloth legs. I took some pictures because I'm going to model Annie's cloth legs after the cloth legs on this doll. And so as she was playing with him, she dropped him and his hand broke. So he had to go to Dr. J.B. Weld to be repaired. And he didn't have a name yet because he was a new doll in her collection. And so when she got him back, she decided to name him after Dr. J.B. Weld the glue.
J.B. Weld.
Who's J.B. Weld?
His name.
Welcome to the family. So I have been busy with some other things too, other than just studying Scarlet, because that's a very exciting big project, but some other things too. I have been replacing new watch batteries. Now, I used to always pay Walmart, here, please replace the battery. Well, then they stopped doing that. So I have lots of watches. I bought the kit from Amazon, and now I replace my own watch batteries. There are tons of YouTube videos out there on how to replace watch batteries. So I had two very nice watches. One was from a yard sale, and it said, works, needs new battery. Okay, I could spend $1 on that. I like the way this watch looks. It looks antique, and it's got a bracelet band on it. So I opened it up so I could see if I had any batteries, because I have a little collection of batteries, and it didn't have a battery in it, which makes it difficult to buy a new battery. So I went on to the next watch that I happened to find in my box with the repair tools. It was a gift. This watch was a gift from my friend when her mother passed away. She passed this watch on to me because her mother was a school employee. She was a cook. And she loved snow days just as much as teachers love snow days. And so Kelly passed this watch on to me. And as I looked at it, it was the same brand. Now, these two watches don't look anything at all alike. It was the same brand as the watch I bought at a yard sale that looked so different, even in size and shape. And when I took the dead battery out of that watch, it fit in the yard sale watch. It was like she was watching over my shoulder, guiding me to find the right size battery for her watch. So I was very glad to order those, and they are both working and keeping time beautifully. And it took longer to wait for the batteries to get here. It probably took 10 minutes to actually fix both of them up and get the backs on and set them and get them running and check them out. So I've been busy with those kind of things. I have some projects that Dan created. I don't know if I showed these to you last year or not. I think I did, but it doesn't hurt to look at them again. I love the look of these stockings. The first one I made years ago for my son, and then Dan found patterns for other ones for us. So I love this outdoor theme. I love the fishing rod and all the animals, especially the cute little puppies that are on this stocking. He did all the cross stitch, and I added the back, which took like no time at all. On my stocking, I love the alphabet. Being a teacher, I love any kind of alphabets. And I also love that it has a Singer treadle sewing machine on it, because as you know, I have several treadles that I like to play with. And while I was taking pictures all around my room for things to ramble on about and blab about this week, he brought in his latest project. He just finished it up. It will be a Christmas present for my friend Kelly, and it has a hymn on it. Very pretty though, very pretty. I think she will appreciate it. It is so fresh out of the hoop that it still has hoop marks on it and hasn't been laundered yet, because I always launder things before we put them in a frame so that it doesn't, those marks don't show up as rings later on. I don't have any samples of or pictures to show you today of other people's works other than Dan's fantastic cross-stitch things. I do have a new purchase. We went to Williamsburg before Thanksgiving, and while we were in the Tidewater Sew and Vac, I'll pop up a picture here. It's a sew and vac store, and there are several of them in the area. I picked up a block book. Now, I love that this block book shows several different sizes of the block that you can make, and it shows the number of pieces to cut for each and the size for each one. Their construction methods are very different than mine, so this is a great idea book, but I will not construct blocks the way that they set it up. They do a lot of cutting things in half, cutting things in fourths, and you know how I like 4 at a time flying geese. They don't do that. So they don't usually use the shortcut methods. I also have the old block tool, which was cards fastened together and they kind of fan out. It is the same sort of assembly on it, but not exactly as detailed. And then, you know, I have books, lots of block books. Some of them have templates because they're older books. Some don't have any cutting directions whatsoever. They just have a picture of blocks and blocks and blocks, like this book of 5,500. And then I have another book of 1,000. The problem with this book is that the parts and pieces and directions are all on a CD. Nobody has a CD player on their computers anymore. I do have a portable one, so I can drag that out and then open it up, but it's not as easy as just using a good old-fashioned book and coming up with the dimensions myself and the cutting and the piecing directions. So I have lots of dreaming to do and lots more blocks to make. I hope that you are getting started with Study in Scarlet and you are getting geared up for Christmas. Don't stress, relax, enjoy your time with your family, and if you need to, sneak away to the sewing room for a few minutes of peace and quiet, and the hum of that sewing machine will make you feel so much better. So see you on Monday. Let me take a look at the calendar. Monday is Bias Tape Day. So I will see you on Monday for Bias Tape Day, where I apply some of the millions of yards of bias tape that I have to blocks. Thank you for watching.